Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Cassandra the Oracle, and I'm following up with a part two to my Santa channeling from earlier. Um, this was not a Santa channeling per se. I guess it was more of a description of Santa and a recounting of some of the things that he had shown me. Um, but anyway, after I had recorded that, I had to go run an errand. And while I was out running an errand, it was interesting. I got this strong feeling that I should also share some of Santa's shadow aspects, some of the maybe darker qualities that are also associated with Santa, because as you know, I'm a big believer in the balance of light and shadow. So, some of the shadow qualities that Santa rules over. First off, I'm going to start with the fact that I say fact, but it's just based on what he's told me. That Santa's associated with the sign of Libra. So, the sign of Libra makes a lot of sense for Santa to me because he is a judge, he's an evaluator of people's character. He is also kind of a gossip. Um, like he loves being in the know, which I find very Libra. He is very concerned with his appearance and fashion. Like he's very interested in the decorations and the beauty of the event of Christmas as well as the season of Christmas. And I find that very Libra. And he has quite a sense of karmic justice, I would say, is associated with him. You've probably heard the good kids get Christmas gifts and bad kids get coal. Um, from what I've heard from him, it's more like bad luck. Not necessarily a lump of coal, but like you may incur bad luck as a result of like not being charitable enough, or being like too self-centered, which brings me into some of his shadow aspects that he rules over. So being a modern deity, I have found that like some of the things associated with Santa are more associated with our modern age. So specifically commercialism, that is kind of one of his shadow aspects. He's very involved in commercialism, in the production and making of toys, electronics, clothing, things involving factories and the employment of people to make those things. So also he is kind of like, I find his energy to be really strongly associated with the workers that are making things, and specifically like workers making things and being underpaid for that. So like a lot of cheap toys or products are, made in not so great conditions. So it's interesting that I felt in his energy like that's kind of associated with Christmas too, right? Because another aspect of Christmas he's associated with is consumerism, like mass consumption. And this can be a good thing in some contexts, but like his overall quality is abundance, right? And so overindulgence is like the shadow aspect of his overall quality. Um, the spirit of Christmas can encourage people to be giving, but it also, like, I'm hearing a notification going off. It forces people to consume in this way. That's very interesting. Like there's this focus on generosity and giving from the heart and the soul, but like a lot of people don't have time to be making these heartfelt gifts or crafting things by hand or doing these charitable acts and good deeds. What it turns into is the shortcut. For a lot of people, um, time is shortcut with money. That's an interesting channel I might talk more about someday. But anyway, so money is really tied into the energy of Santa. Specifically, how are you using your money? Like, in what ways are you giving back with your money? Like, what's your time, your money being invested into? He's very interested in that with people. Um, this is so funny. My cat Lucifer, my little orange guy, he's come to sit in front of me right now, very, very cutely. So, yeah, Santa is very involved also in like legal disputes, he says, which makes sense as he is associated with justice. He's associated with being able to tell who's been naughty or nice, if you will. Um, yeah, he is, how would I describe this energy? He's very fair, and that doesn't always mean he's nice. So it's quite an interesting like energy that he has. Like he's really wise and he sees a lot. he kind of, as he describes it, he knows when to keep his mouth shut about certain things, but he like is very good at keeping score, keeping a tally. Like, as he put it, don't expect you can just bust onto the Christmas scene with some decorations and nice words and think that will mean that I will treat you well, or that this year will treat you well, like the upcoming year. Because he has said he also has an influence on the energy of the upcoming year. Um, my cat is playing with my pants right now. That's hilarious. Um, so yeah, he is very invested in the success of his followers, right? Like he's really invested in the commercialism aspect of Christmas. I almost said Christianity for a moment, and I think that's another interesting topic that I don't know if I'll delve into right now. But he is associated with Christianity, and it's kind of funny because he's clearly a very different entity than Jesus or any of the Christian symbols. Like, and again, as I talked about in my other video, he is where I established like he is also a separate deity from deities that he's taken influence from at this point. And the reason being because so many people have poured their collective energy and thoughts and time and perspective into his current appearance and demeanor. So I don't feel that he is equivalent at this point with like Saint Nicholas or Santa Claus or anything like that. Like, certainly that's probably where some of the inspiration came from, but because of the customs and the traditions and the opinions of people actively shaping deities and their ongoing connection with humans, yeah, he no longer, I would not say he's equivalent to those. I would say he's like a cousin maybe at this point. But anyway, so what else? Sorry, I got a little sidetracked on that tangent there. Yes, so he helps with like abundance in the upcoming year. He actually specifically says the message is like the 5 days after Christmas are really significant for him. Apparently, he judges quite a lot in that intermittent period of time because he says he finds people enjoy a lot of revelry in the time between the 25th, Christmas, where that's traditionally held, and then New Year's Eve and New Year's. Like, the energy is quite different on New Year's Eve on the 31st. So he kind of doesn't include that day. So it's 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. I found that really fascinating because I thought, well, the 31st is still December, and he qualifies that as the preparation day for the next calendar year. So he kind of almost doesn't even consider that part of his holiday anymore. He's like, that's on to the next thing. Um, yeah. So these shadow aspects of Santa can be also summed up as like, again, greed, consumerism, materialism, heavy outward appearance versus inward demeanor. We It's, which is interesting because so many people emphasize how it's important where your heart's at, where your spirit's at, but at the end of the day, most people care about appearances with Christmas. They care about, even if it's like a quote unquote humble appearance, he says. God, this is so Libra, this energy, but it's very much like, how does it look? Like, does it look good for you to be spending time with your family and your friends? Like, some people will do that because it looks good, like not because of the spirit of it, if that makes sense. Um, he's got this very piercing, intense energy towards understanding people's motivations and their actions. And I find it so fascinating. Um, like, he's not at all malevolent. He's just like judging, which is very Libra. Um, but he has described that he also feels like this weight of people's expectations. Like, he says that he feels a lot of people expect miracles this time of year. He says like a lot of people pull on like the wishes of society. They pull on the collective energy of society. Like, this is the crunch time of year where everyone is looking for everything to pull through. And so it's kind of this feeling of like a big stage performance for him where like he he's like quiet a lot of the year, and then like suddenly, in like November, sometimes even earlier than November, he says, but like generally around November, like even before Thanksgiving is done, like, October 31st, Halloween finishes, and a lot of people are like putting out Christmas lights. They're putting out like he says they keep pushing my start time earlier and earlier. Do you want a 2-month holiday? Um, so funny. So yeah, I just felt really called to share some of these shadow aspects of him. This is not a totally comprehensive or inclusive list. This was just some observations that I have made in interacting with this deity. Again, find him super interesting. If you haven't listened to that original video, I super encourage you to listen because it's beautiful and it highlights some of his warmer, more comforting, and like soulful qualities that are more light. Um, but I just love this idea of modern deities so much because why should we stop having deities like just because those quote unquote old stories have stopped being written? Like the only difference between those old stories and now is like people just aren't writing things down. I feel like there's now more than ever more energies that are coming online and being like shifting and transferred and starting and ending. Like all the old stories talk about gods having children and gods creating new gods and humans interacting with them. And so, yeah, I am a firm believer based on my own experiences and talking with other people that like the gods keep on growing, they keep on learning, more of them pop up. I think it's a whole fascinating, interesting topic that I have to get in my little soapbox about sometimes. So, anyway, I super appreciate this time that Santa Claus took to give me some of his perspective and share some of his qualities with you all. I hope you enjoyed this little Christmas special treat that he had for us today. Um, if you have any other modern deities you have heard of and would like me to interview, if you will, or check into their energy, please let me know below in the comments. I may consider maybe even doing a little mini series of this on, maybe cryptids, like investigating them some and various other modern myths. So thank you all so much for listening. I'm sending you so much love, light, gratitude for your shadows, and have a wonderful rest of your day.